Welcome back everyone, this is Frugal Techie giving you another budget PC video. Today I'm going to talk about budget graphics cards. In every generation of GPUs, both AMD and Nvidia always releases a budget graphics card that is usually a cut down version of their flagship brothers to fill in the demand in the market for lower end budget builds. Now my channel is all about building and enjoying technology and gaming on a budget, so these cards are perfect for someone like me, right? Keep watching to find out. This is a $90 GPU. It is the AMD RX460 and it is AMD's budget card in its latest generation of GPUs. And this is a HD 7870 which can be had for between $35 to $50 used. It was once a high to mid-tier GPU released by AMD in 2012 with a release price of $250. Yes, it's the same release price as the current RX480, and in terms of relative performance in 2012, the HD 7870 is pretty much the same place the RX480 is at now, a higher mid-tier GPU. So now let's compare the two on paper and see what is different. So off the bat, being a newer gen GPU, the RX460 has twice the transistor density at 14 nanometers versus the 7870's 28. However, this advantage is negated by the smaller die size, but overall it still has more transistors than the 7870. The RX460 only has 896 shader units, and that is significantly lower than the 7870, which has 1280, a 42% advantage. The RX460 is slightly clocked faster, but it falls behind in memory bandwidth with only a 128-bit bus versus the HD 7870's 256. So that's where it stands on paper. We've talked the talk and now it's time to walk the walk. We'll be using the $250 budget PC I built in an earlier video to conduct this benchmark comparison. You can find that video in the card linked above. So let's get into the comparison. First up is the least demanding game of the lot, Counter-Strike Go at 1080p high presets. Both cards easily pumped out more FPS than what most monitors can chew. However, the HD 7870 had the advantage and was able to pull 20 FPS more on average. Next up is everyone's favorite Overwatch. On 1080p medium presets, both cards easily beats the 60 FPS average mark. The HD 7870 is slightly ahead with 9 more FPS on average. It's safe to say that both these cards will provide an enjoyable experience in this game and you'll have no problems being competitive. In Doom OpenGL 1080p low presets, the RX460 struggled to maintain a 60 FPS average, whilst the 7870 just manages to clear the mark. When switching to the Vulkan API, both cards saw a significant boost, easily beating the 60 FPS average milestone, with the HD 7870 slightly ahead by 8 FPS. I wish more games would support Vulkan, as it seems to be the API that us budget gamers, and I'm looking forward for more games to support it. In GTA 5, both cards were neck and neck with only 2 FPS separating them. Although the 7870 had the higher average FPS, its minimums were lower, but again the differences here could be due to margin of error. But nonetheless, both cards are perfectly capable of providing an enjoyable experience in this popular open world game. And finally, the most demanding of the lot, Battlefield 1. The RX460 trailed behind the 7870 in both the average and minimum frames. Both of these cards were able to maintain FPS above 30, so it beats console gaming at least. Lowering the settings in BF1 will no doubt yield a stable 60 FPS average on both of these cards, and I would encourage you to do so if you are playing multiplayer to avoid frustrating deaths. So there you have it guys, the RX460 and the HD 7870 appear to be of similar performance, with the RX460 slightly trailing behind the older 7870. Both of these cards are fantastic for 1080p gaming, provided you turn down some settings to maintain that 60 average FPS milestone. But which one is more worth it? Well, given the HD 7070 costs only $35 compared to the $90 of the RX460, it's a no-brainer, right? Well, from a price standpoint, yes, I would go for the HD 7070 every time, and in fact, you can get 2 of them in Crossfire with change left over for the $90 price tag of the RX460. So the moral of the story is, if you are truly on a budget, don't get sucked in by the so-called budget cards from the latest generation of GPUs. Instead, look for an older but more higher tier GPU for a much cheaper price, and with the change left over, you can spend a bit more on the CPU or an extra stick of RAM. Now there are a few negative things to consider. The older gen cards are always more power hungry, and in this example, the RX460 uses only a third of the power that the HD 7070 does, so make sure your PSU is up to scratch. And of course, with used parts, it's buyer beware, as you get no guarantees of it working, or even if it does work, how long it will continue to work. But as a frugal gamer, I would risk it. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you did for more future content, or leave a comment if you have something to say. See you in the next one.